in 2017, Putin said something very, very interesting, which was by then he had dealt with Clinton, he had dealt with Obama, and he had dealt with Trump. And he said in this famous interview in Le Figaro that he's now dealt with 3 American presidents. He said they come into office with interesting ideas, but then the men in the dark suits and the suitcases and the blue ties come to visit them, and they explain to these presidents how things really are. And then the presidents, you never hear of those ideas again. And of course, what he was talking about is the military-industrial state. That's who runs the United States. And that's what we have right now. And so Putin learned a long time ago, this hostility is deeply, deeply entrained in the US side. And then what's all the propaganda in Europe and the US? Unprovoked aggression by Russia. Unprovoked. Nothing happened. We didn't do anything over a 30-year period. It's so willful.
So you said about the military-industrial complex. You think this is what's behind everything?
This is the fundamental point. The U.S. is not a democracy. Europe is not democratic, really, at its core. This is a security apparatus. The CIA is, as I've explained, at the core of American foreign policy, because as a security state, the idea is we will overthrow other countries' governments. And that is how the U.S. has operated basically since the 1940s.
And because they fund the politicians, the politicians cannot stand up against them, or they are too powerful that they can tell the president what to do.
There's a very interesting theory, by the way, that everything there are 2 dates that are probably notable. One is November 22nd, 1963, when Kennedy was assassinated. I believe that Kennedy was killed by CIA actions, and that's not a crazy idea to most Americans, and that he was killed because he was making peace with the Soviet Union, the partial nuclear test ban treaty, which was signed in the summer of 1963, his desire to get out of Vietnam, which he told his associates he would do. He was starting to draw down American troops from Vietnam. He actually was starting to make informal approaches to Castro that we have to find a modus operandi. And I think the CIA, or parts of the CIA, Angleton and others, had him killed. So one theory is, since then, presidents don't have the guts. They're basically under the control of forces they don't actually control. Another interesting theory that I'm reading now by an Italian sociologist is that another crucial step was 1973, when the military draft ended and the U.S. became an all-paid army. It became a business. This is business also. You make money and you need to test your weapon systems. So these wars are actually great for defense stocks. They're not defense. Even Trump, I give him credit. I give him credit in quotation marks. He changed the name to the Department of War. Because what is a defense industry? It's a war industry. So at least Trump is obnoxious enough to say the truth. It doesn't stop him from making the wars. But they make a lot of money. And there is literally a program in Ukraine that if you heard it, you'd say it's a comedian's joke, sick joke. It's a test your weapons here program. It's a formal program of the Ukraine government. Bring your new drones, bring your AI systems, bring your autonomous weapons. You can test them in real time, in real battlefield conditions. This is real. It's so sick. It's unimaginable, but it's not imagination. It's real. And the same companies that are operating in the slaughter in Gaza are the companies operating in Ukraine. And it's our big tech industry, by the way, this is our first AI wars. We've got drones. We've got AI sensing. We've got all this sophisticated digital stuff. And they're trying out their weapons right now.
So it's in their interest to keep things going so they can advance militarily.
I think this is basically, it's big money, and it's
It's also
testing
weakens
the weapons.
And it also weakens Europe as well. It's also
And
weakens
the fighting, you know, we had two senators, probably many more, but I only noticed two quotations. One was Mitt Romney from Utah, and one was Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut. They literally said, because maybe they thought no one was listening or no one would care, they said, this is the greatest money we can spend because no Americans are dying.
Yeah.
You know, can you actually have a human being say this?
Ukrainians are the guinea pigs.